Football fans, Gooners, this is your host Shatta from the Uncensored Arsenal, and today it's my partner is Ehab. We're flying as a duo. We used to have three people in the cabin. Now it's only two. It's a two-seater. Ehab.
Yeah, it's a small Cessna plane right now.
Yes. Welcome, Ehab. Apologies for George. Couldn't make it today. Really, we always like his very frank and outspoken opinions, but Ehab, you'll have to do double duty.
Yeah.
And we are previewing Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, and I see I left out Palace in my banner, which I'll correct in the first break I get.
Okay.
That game is all the way until Monday, Ehab, but as you know, this is the most convenient time for us to stream.
Mhm.
And I'm sure it will be an opportunity for our little thing to get a lot more hearing before the game. I hope a lot of people will see it. I hope we'll say something interesting to keep their attention. And before we talk about the game, I want to thank and commend the audience. We just started this thing in August, and we have grown slowly but surely. People realize that we have something to say. We're not clickbaiting. We are some mature, knowledgeable fans. I would say you are knowledgeable.
I don't know about the
We
rest
want
of
to be the group, be factual and be as
Yeah.
realistic as possible. We're not trying to make any money. We don't have Patreon accounts. And I suspect we'll never become the most popular because we usually go against the grain. But it's Crystal Palace. It's Vieira coming. I was gonna say home, but this is not. This is the Emirates. All this time was at the other stadium. But he's a legend. So there's no way we can remove him from the equation. But the match is Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. And currently we are 10th in the standings and they are 14th. They have scored more goals than us, 8. They have conceded more, 11. Arsenal have scored. Is it? Let me take a look at that. We have scored 5. Only 5 we have, and conceded less, 10. And I was looking at this, and the pundits have Arsenal as the favorites, obviously at home. But Crystal Palace has had some difficult games, Ehab, coming into this. Do you want to talk about this? It is kind of misleading to think that just simply because they have only had one win, but they've had some very
Mhm.
difficult games. Tell us about them.
Actually, They have a new manager, so they have to adjust to that. They are playing a bit better than they started. They started with a loss to Chelsea, which is not the ideal way to start if you're a new manager. And after that, they had the one win, and people don't look at that as a 3-0 win against Tottenham.
Yes.
And it's I know Tottenham still has a new manager and they are still figuring things out. And Harry Kane had his problems to start the season, but they are still a team with a bunch of good players that are pitted against any team on paper. It could win any day of the week. And they had a draw to I think it was to Watford or
Yes, I want to draw.
yeah, and they lost to Liverpool. I mean,
Right.
those people have already played Chelsea, Tottenham, and Liverpool,
Correct.
and we are 7 games into the season. I mean, if they play us tomorrow, and this means they just one trip away to City from playing the top half of the table. Um, this is it's not an easy start. It's brutal for somebody like Patrick Vieira, who comes in as a new manager, his first time in the Premier League as a manager. He's somebody that started from nothing. He started with the academy at Manchester City, and slowly he started. Now he's learning from nothing, like Arteta, like how Arteta started, but he
Well,
has like 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 more years under his belt.
interesting. Hold on a second on that thought for a minute.
Mhm.
We should also add that they played West Ham,
Hmm.
a
Oh
two-all
yeah.
draw,
Hmm.
and they played the last game was against Leicester, which was a two-all draw. I think all these games they have come from behind too. Might be I have it wrong, but I recall them. It was Leicester. I think they came from behind. Um,
Yeah.
they have played some very good teams, which are way above us in the table. Maybe
Yeah.
you want before we talk about Vieira and his antecedents. That less Crystal Palace is no chop change.
Yeah. They're not a bad team, and if you look at it, I think they've always been a thorn to our side. Um,
Recently.
yeah, recently, even the Wenger days, Wenger dealt with them. He disposed of them, but it was never an easy game. Like when we played them, especially at their stadium, which is the worst stadium you could ever go to in the Premier League. It has always been close, like 3-2, 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0, like a close 2-0. And it has never been like a clear, 3-0 and game was done by halftime. It was
Yes.
never done. And maybe when they came to Emirates, we dealt with them better. But they are the reason that Emre didn't get top four first year.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, I remember I was at that game actually.
oh yeah, and
Yes.
this
Because
Wilfried Zaha.
if we had won that game, we would have been vaulted to the top four, and then we went down. But anyway, George, I mean, yeah, keep going.
We Wilfried Zaha loves to score against us. Loves to play well against us. I think it's personal to a level. He's a little bit immature, but he's a great talent. And now he has an Arsenal legend coming back to Arsenal. And Patrick Vieira, he loves Arsenal, but he loves winning. He likes to win, and it's not going to be an easy game. People who think it's an easy game, it's not going to be. It's going to be closer to the Brighton game than the Norwich game. And you know that they have people like Benteke, Zaha, Ayu who could finish, unlike Mopai or whoever else in Brighton.
Well, I'm not sure about IU, but they have this new guy, Edward, which we talk about. Yeah, but
Eduardo.
the pundits, at least the odds makers, and I think people have got to be very careful about the odds makers because they want to suck you in and pick your pocket. But I'm looking at a site here that says that we are 3-5 to win, and they're offering 5-1 to Crystal Palace. So obviously, they want to suck in the Arsenal fans, thinking that this is easy money.
Hmm.
And if you do take a punt on Crystal Palace and they win, of course you make off like a bandit. And the odds are strongest 14-5 for a draw. And I'm not going to talk about what your proposed result is, but what the point I'm making is that the pundits, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans, I haven't started seeing the previews yet, may be thinking that this is an easy game, and that's why I shared with you and with the audience the games that they have played. The games that they have played are not easy, except for the
Yeah,
Watford. Well, supposedly the Watford game, but Watford Crystal Palace is always. I mean, this is a London team against. Let me put it this way: a suburban team. Watford is kind of a suburb of. It's not accurate. I'm not a Londoner, but it's within a stone's throw of London, so it's a very competitive game.
it should be. The thing is that you have to look at when you look at the teams. They have a good midfield. They have a good CDM in Kouyaté. and they have Eze, who's a great attacking talent, and they have this guy MacArthur, who I'm a fan of.
You are.
He's a good midfielder. And the thing is, they have the greatest midfielder in PL history
Yes.
as a manager.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you need advice or you need something or you make a mistake, it's different when you have Patrick Vieira telling you what you should do this and this, not this and this. I mean, it's like it's like having Picasso as your art teacher,
Yes.
and
You want to be apprentice to him, correct?
yeah. If those people, like, if they had to choose the scenario, the best case scenario, who to play under, it would have been Patrick Vieira. And they also have a couple of people in midfield who are not bad, who are on the bench, but he's stuck with this. Vieira has stuck with these three, and Kouyaté especially has always been a little bit. I'm not gonna say underrated. He underachieved. He's a good player, but he's never been used well, and he's never been used to his full potential.
Yeah.
And I think under Paddy, he's going to shine. I mean, he's going to play better. And we all know this guy. He's a great dribbler. He's got speed. He can score. I think Arsenal wanted him for a while. He's got flair. He's like a midfield Alan Sam Maximo, and he's going to be really annoying, because don't forget, we don't have Granit Xhaka.
Yes.
We're gonna play with Lokongo and Party, and you know I don't care what Twitter says. This is a shaky midfield, and it is. It's Lokongo is makes up for his lack of awareness, and because he's 22, he still has to learn
Very
for
athletic.
2 years. But as he makes up for the areas he lacks by his work rate. And you know what I think about Party? I don't think he's a quality midfielder. So I think.
But he scored 2 goals, I think, in the international
Oh
break.
my God! Have you seen?
Come
Have you
on.
seen the second? Have you seen the second goal?
No, I
I
have.
mean,
I saw the first one. Everybody was chucking that picture on Twitter, right?
yeah,
I'll be honest. To be honest, to audience, to be honest, I don't give these international games a lot of credit. I mean, if Partey scored 2 goals in that kind of competition, come on.
no, he's
By
he's
the way,
he,
and I mean, I, you know, of course, I suppose I'd be glad he's coming into form, but
Mhm.
and we would be, if it was a striker for us, we would be happy he'd be banging them in. But we're
Yeah.
not relying on him to score goals anyway, and we're not expecting him to score goals. And that's my point. Go ahead,
The
Ehab.
thing, the thing is, he's not bad. I mean, I'll say this about him: he will be better under a different manager than
Yes.
Arteta. He will be.
And I don't. Well, I don't deny that. I think practically everybody will be better than Arteta, and everybody knows my opinion on Arteta. I'm going to talk about the two coaches' credentials before we go. You spoke about a number of players, but Crystal Palace had a complete turnover of this team, and this is not the team that what you may call it the manager left. The old guy, what's his name again?
Sam
My memory.
Allardyce. They had
What's
Sam
his name?
Allardyce.
The English
Brought
coach.
from, they had Sam Allardyce, and they brought
No,
from.
no. The
Different.
retired English coach here, who used to be at Liverpool and all over those, Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson.
Wow.
This is a
Oh, yeah,
completely different team, and I think we should give recognize rather that Vieira has transformed this team from a counter-attacking team to a possession-based team.
Mhm.
But what I wanted to highlight for you missed out a couple. The fact that they have brought in some new players and they have played very well. This fellow, Hudson Edward, he hasn't scored. This probably scored 1 or 2 goals, but I mean he's highly rated. And Conor Gallagher, who used to be at Chelsea and barely got a look in, and he's been playing very well for them. So this is Clarkey from Arsenal, the Neco there, did a
Yeah,
preview of them, and he was making the point that you know the goalkeeper Guaita, Vicente Guaita, I think that's his name. He no
yeah,
longer kicks the ball long, which was what all he did on the Hodgson. But now
true.
most of his passes out of the back are within his own penalty area. So this is a completely different team, and I want to support you when you say that they don't play. This is a new way of playing, and they have to get used to it. You may want
Yeah,
to comment on that.
they will actually. Vieira plays like a lot like Pep, and
He does.
yeah. This is yeah. He goes with the 4-3-3 with one CDM with two attacking midfielders, which is Arteta's trying to apply nowadays. But this is how he plays. Plays a lot like Pep. Two of his wingers can score. Eduardo is fitting nicely into the team. He has Benteke too, who we can rely on.
By the way, Benteke has the most assists. Yes, believe it or not. Go on the PL
Interesting.
website and you'll see it.
Oh wow! And
Believe it.
he's gonna play 4-3-3 with one CDM and two attacking CMs. He relies on MacArthur as a box to box midfielder.
Correct.
He relies on Eze to play what KDB does
City.
for City, and he has. I know it's just Ayu, but and Zaha, and he gives Zaha the Sterling goal where he comes in and tries to score, and
Right.
he does the same with Ayu, but Ayu is more of a playmaker like what Mahrez does for City, and
That's a nice way of putting it. Correct. Yes.
yeah, and he relies on Schlupp, who's left back to bomb forward like what they do with the Kyle Walker, and he gives him what nowadays people call an inverted run, where the instead of making the fullback overlap, they make the fullback cut inside, which personally I think it's easily defended, and I have no idea why managers don't pay more attention to it. But right now it's the trend, and it's a game. It's a game of trends. So they have the inverted runs. Somebody like Schlupp, and he did well against Tottenham, and he did well against West Ham. And
Yes. I'm interested. Interesting player because he came from Leicester, in my recollection.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he's playing him as a left back. He was a midfielder and he played forward. I mean, he used to come on a lot as a sub for Hudson, and when he was
yeah,
down at Leicester,
yeah.
like a winger. But now they're playing him as a left back. That's very interesting.
Yeah, he plays him more as the thing is, and this is how it looks like when Arteta starts with three at the back, and he starts somebody at left wing back. He's a left wing basically. He's relying more on attacking and tracking back than defending and going forward. And this is what he's doing with Schlupp. He goes into somewhat of a 3-4-3, where Koyati drops a little bit up front, and the two midfielders go Kouyaté drops to back, and the two midfielders just go up front, and the two wingers become more of a forwards. The two wingers become more of a
Yes,
forwards,
Ayu and
Zaha.
Zaha.
Yeah, and sometimes he actually plays Schlupp. He starts Schlupp on the wing, and
Yes, he's played that a lot. I played that a lot in his past. But yeah.
yeah, yeah, he starts this. But this is because as we always said, just because you start in a formation, it doesn't mean you have to continue with that formation. And this is how it goes. And it's a. I think Vieira is going to be successful long term with this. Probably by Feb or end of January, he's going to look like somebody promising. And these kind of games scare me because I've seen this with Sir Alex Ferguson. Not to say that Vieira is going to become Sir Alex Ferguson. You come in to a new team, a new league. and it's all about pride and showing, as Wenger says, I was afraid of no one.
Mhm.
You have to go. There are teams that you mark on your calendar, and I think Arsenal game is one of those teams at the Emirates that Patrick Vieira has marked on his calendar. He wants to come in and make a statement, and this is what Alex Ferguson did. First year he came in, he came 11th, but what he did is, uh, I think between 1985 and 1990, um, Liverpool lost 6 games at Anfield. That's it, and
Yeah,
and
I know you're going there.
yeah, and one of them was Sir Alex Ferguson's first game at Anfield.
Right. So
He
because
beat,
Liverpool was going to be his statement game. As he said, he came to knock them off their perch.
yes, and this is Vieira's statement game. He's coming back to the Emirates. He wants everybody. This is a game that the media is talking about. You know,
Right.
the return of Patrick Vieira, and he's coming back to Arsenal. It will get more media coverage than any game, maybe City game because he used to be at City,
Right.
but this will get more media coverage than
Well, he
any.
was a legend at Arsenal. I mean, he went to City to play in the twilight of his career.
And we have given him. There's a window here. It's I mean, he goes to Etihad, and his odds of winning are what, 1 to 20.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but right here it's 1 to 3. He will charge his players. He will try to they will have them fighting, and we are in danger of looking flat, especially after an international break.
By the way, you were just talking about tactically how they set up, and I'd love to hear the audience. I mean, and we don't have a ton load of, but we know we have at least Millsy watching live, and there are some people on Twitter. I can't see what's going on Twitter, but
Yeah.
maybe people on Twitter watching. But I don't rely on that. Of course, I post this and and have it running on YouTube, and as I said, people are watching.
Yeah.
But we did not use the tactics board. That's the point I'm making, because we got the feedback that it's not quite visible. But I would love to hear from people if they prefer if you bring the tactics board. So what will be our response to Vieira's 4-3-3, with all the current fad and modifications that he will use? What is going to be our response? We all know we're going to see the usual Arsenal.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I
We do.
think they
We
he's
need.
gonna set up the usual, and I think maybe he will use a more defensive, like maybe would go with a Nenny as a more defensive, maybe
El Nene. I
or
thought
a
he
M
was.
N.
I thought he was a trash heap. He's still in it. He's come from. He must have represented Egypt. He's a very important player for Egypt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the hate that I have a problem with, because Nenny has never come in and had a bad run of games.
Yeah.
He's never We've never used a Nenny and he let us down. Like he had a bad half every like couple of months or so, but he's always been, whatever he's given, and he does it. He runs more than anybody on the field. But people are for performative crap, for like the flash and not the substance,
Yes.
and that's why the only love that Nenny ever got was when we were winning against Manchester United, and in the 88th minute or in the 90th minute, he chased the ball all the way and forced them to bring the ball back to the keeper instead of attacking us. And they see this and it's like, oh my god, the Nenny is amazing. And it's not that. The guy has a positionally, he's the second best behind Chaka. He's the best shooter of the ball we have from outside of the area. Uh, you just compare his shots to Partey's shots, and it's like comparing Zidane with a Sunday League player.
Hmm.
And defensively, he's really reliable. He drops between the lines, and
Yes.
he clears the ball really well. He's not a big guy. He's 5'9". He's a good passer. People say, "Oh, he just passes sideways," and I'm like, "Okay, this is football." If you look at players from a high rise or a helicopter, you would see that like uh, 16 of the 20 players are in one area, like
Yes.
in one 40-yard area. So a forward pass is always a problem. You need the sideways pass. You need this quick sideways pass to be done.
Yes.
He doesn't lose the ball often. So I'm not sure that Partey and Lokongo are going to be good enough defensively.
Yeah,
But
because remember, we have never had, well, we have had mixed success containing Zaha. That year with Emery, we couldn't contain him at all. I think he scored 2 goals that day. It broke our heart. Um,
yeah,
um, they blame Mustafa. One ball went over his head. You gotta remember that one.
I
But
worry
and
about the
he
young.
misses a flight of a ball. But that's history. Forget it. I don't know if many of our people remember this. But our this new look Arsenal that Arteta has assembled, can it
Yeah,
really defend against the new look Crystal Palace?
this is scary
Ben
actually.
White, Gabriel. Gabriel is going to be on the other side from
Yeah.
Zaha.
But you
Ben
have
White
Ben White
and
in the back.
Tomiyasu will have to manage it. But this is not a counter-attacking team. They'll be bringing the back ball up the field and
Hmm.
trying to spring Zaha in
Hmm.
situations where he can score. So
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think we are up to the task of containing this team?
Well, you cannot. It's hard to contain Zaha, especially with our struggles. If you remember, we've struggled from that side, like all season actually. But I will from against Burnley, they had most crosses from that side.
Right, you're correct. Yes, you're correct.
Against Brighton, this
The
the
fellow
the
pushed
ref.
us back. Their winger pushed. I remember we had to drop back Tommy Yasu. He couldn't manage the fellow from Cucurella, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
Cucurella would
yeah,
spring
exactly.
the winger because Cucurella and him were running a combination on Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu was in that first half was dominating. He dropped back a 5 yards or so to
Yeah,
to manage them. Yes, on that side of the field, we are vulnerable. I'm well. Let's put it this way: we're not proven. Go ahead, Ehab.
yeah. And you have Zaha and Schlupp on the same side, and this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy at all. And as I said, they are going to be motivated. Cucurella was motivated because his manager, the players believe in him, and they are playing really hard for him. They have, when I say believe in him, I don't mean like in a profit kind of way. I mean, they know the system. They know what's the end product of the system, like why this system is put in place. They understand it. They understand that if we do so and so and so, eventually we will win and we will score and we will create chances and we will defend well. And they do it. They work for it. It's the end game. If I told you that if you build a house by the end of the year, I will buy it from you for $1 million. So you will work your ass off to finish that house even earlier than the end of the year, and to do a good job on the house so you can get the $1 million for it. And this is what they do. They believe that if I get to this point and put a cross in or put a pass in, or just watch everything, I know that it's gonna work. So they're gonna put the work in. This is what motivates you. Now, trusting the system. This is what when I say I believe in the manager. It's not I believe in the manager because he can give a speech like Al Pacino on any given Sunday, or just because he's a cool guy, or but he's a passionate guy. It's not that at all. And on in return, when you make a mistake, and you will make a mistake because this is a bouncing ball, basically, it could bounce anyway. Anything could happen, and you are playing against amazing athletes. So somebody's gonna force an error out of you, or you're gonna get an unlucky bounce, or your legs are gonna let you down. You're gonna get tired. So it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to make a mistake.
It's all humans.
And the manager is not going to blame you. He's going to search for a solution. He's not going to point fingers. This is why Mourinho will never stay at a team for more than 3 years, because they believe in his system when they start. After a year or two, everybody gets bored because everybody gets blamed for every error that they make. And they know that this is football. They understand that this is football, and what the fuck I'm gonna do? Every time the ball bounces the other way, or I get tired, and the players start blaming the others because they want to blame shift. And this is
Yeah,
what
well, they are
happened.
humans like us,
Yeah.
and of
So
course, they don't want their reputations damaged. Um, Ehab, let's just if you notice in the banner, I say Arteta meets Vieira. I don't say Arteta versus Vieira because yes, and broadly speaking, it might be, but it's a players 11 versus 11 on the field.
sure.
But it's interesting to me that Vieira has a greater CV for coaching than Arteta. Don't be fooled by the fact that he's only had 7 PL games. He was the
Yeah.
academy manager at City. He was at New York FC. You were telling me for 3 years. I didn't even know that. How 3 years have gone so fast. And we all know he
Mhm.
spent a year or so at Nice before he got this job.
Yeah.
Arteta was an assistant to Pep for 2 years and got this big job.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the credentials of both coaches? And of course, Vieira wanted the job that Arteta currently has.
Hmm.
That is the undercurrent. What are your thoughts on this before we
Um,
wrap?
I think it's there's something interesting about Vieira. Vieira, before he went to Manchester to New York City FC, he
Mhm.
used to be on TV and comment on Arsenal games, and he was so critical of our losses. He
Yeah.
was critical of Wenger. He actually, I think, one time he said that Wenger has to move on. They need someone new. Now he goes to New York City FC. 6 months later, they have an interview with Patrick Vieira, and he's full of praise for Wenger.
I think
And this is
I
this
remember
is
that. The coaching, that the entire thing about being a coach and a manager was a completely different thing than being a pundit sitting in a booth. Correct.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that.
As a player, as a player, all you do is just you have fun with the guys. You take a ball and go to the park and have fun with the guys. You have your talent, you have your ability. Nobody can take that away from you. But when you are on the sidelines, you rely on 25 individuals on your team, and you have to keep everything in line. And above that, you have to face the owners, you have to face the GMs, you have to face the media, and you have to face the fans. And he did this for 6 months, and he knew that what Wenger was doing was basically a miracle. And this is how you learn as a manager. This is when I knew that Patrick Vieira is going to learn, because um, Patrick Vieira today is what Arteta could be in a couple of years.
Hmm.
He has a leg up because, of course, he has more. He had 3 years in MLS. It's not 3 years. He had the first year, second year, and third year. He had like a couple of months left, and he did well. The first year, when he came in, they were 17th. He finished fourth and second, and and then he left the year after, and so he had some kind of progress, and he went to Nice, and this is a new system. He didn't coach in the PL. If he started in the PL, like at City, Vieira would now be considered a good manager in the PL. And the thing, 4 years as a manager, he's gained enough. He's gained enough, and he's played under really good managers too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he's played against under Mourinho, I think.
At
He's
AC Milan, I think.
at Inter Milan, I
Inter
think.
Milan, yeah.
I can't remember, and he's
And
played.
neither do I. And of course, he played his last year at City. I think he
Yeah,
was under the Italian coach,
I'm not
or
sure if
or
there's
it was
Trapattoni.
Pellegrini. I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure at Juventus if it was Trapattoni or Lippi, one
Yes,
of
he was
them.
at Juventus. Yeah, so after he left us, he got
Yeah,
that.
and Wenger, and he played under one of the best, which is Imi Jacquet, who won the France World Cup in 1998,
Yes, yes, of course.
and he managed a great team, and he's been a very he's had he played under a lot of managers, and then he went to City, and he was an academy manager, watching Mancini and Pellegrini and Pep
Yes.
practice the trade. So this is almost what's going on with Arteta, because Arteta went to Barcelona as a youth player. He learned a lot from there. Then he moved to Everton, where he played under David Moyes.
Well, he went to Scotland first.
Oh yeah,
The
and then
Rangers.
to Rangers, and then to Everton under David Moyes, and then he came and played under Wenger, and he was the assistant to Pep. So it's more or less similar paths, but somebody has a little bit more experience than the other one.
And that is pretty much. I mean, let's be clear. Vieira has had more experience at the top level as a manager, and
Mhm.
well, beyond a doubt, more
And then
success as a as a as a player. But that's going to be an interesting sideshow. It is a sideshow, but as
Mhm.
you said, I think the most important point you made is that perhaps you're pretty. We know how coaches think, and there are statement games, and Arsenal is his statement game. There's no.
Yep.
I think that we can accept that, and that he's going to come with a prepared team. So at the end of the day, Ehab, what are your predictions? And I'm not gonna. I already made my predictions in the live stream on Saturday. That will be a 1-all draw, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna stick by it. I'm not gonna hedge my bets. So I'm gonna leave it to you to tell the audience what is your prediction for the game on Monday.
I'm gonna say it's going to be. They have bad defense,
They have a bad
so
defense, you think?
yeah, they're not. It's not the best defense. So
Okay.
I'm going to say it's gonna be either 2-1 Palace or 2-2.
You
They're
think?
gonna win. They're gonna beat us 2-1, or it's gonna be 2-2, depending on which Arsenal shows up.
And
It's
why
it's
do
not.
you say that?
I say that because uh, I'll explain something. There's something that I didn't like about Wenger. Wenger, when he knows the important games, and when his players were mature enough, he used to be able to communicate this to them. You know,
Yes.
but when times change and players changed, players did not understand how important those games are. Like when we went to United in 2015 and lost 3-2, for example, or lost to Swansea. If you look at that game, the only good players on that game were Mesut Ozil, Danny Welbeck, because he's played under Sir Alex Ferguson, Mesut Ozil because he's a mature player, and those were the real good players. And he couldn't. Wenger could not communicate to his players at later stages because the players changed, the mentality of players changed. And I always wished that he would get somebody like Vieira, who's not like a side guy or assistant, because someone like Vieira would have communicated this to the new generation well, and they would have understood the importance of the game. The new players need to lose a game to get down, and when they lose, they look lost. And here comes Wenger, and he gives them some wisdom, and they think, okay, this is the guy that's gonna lead us to the promised land, so let's follow him. That's why we always responded good after losses under Wenger.
So your
So
point is, Ehab, how does that translate to this
my
game?
point,
I
my,
have to
my
bring you
point
I have
is,
to bring you up to speed fast.
now the point is Vieira is going to go in and explain to his players how important this game is in a way that they can understand, and they are going to press us, and it's going to look like the first 20 minutes of us against Tottenham, but they will be Arsenal and we will be Tottenham. And if they score early and we have to go up front, you really can't leave the back open for people like Zaha and Eduardo and even Ayu. It's not the an easy fix. Like Zaha takes it personally. He has that mentality, and
Mhm.
he is going to go all in. If you give him a chance, he's gonna take it. So that's why I'm
Well,
saying.
Ehab,
Yeah.
I want to thank you on that. In other words, you think that Patrick Vieira is gonna get his team really wound up for this game,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that you think is probably going to make the difference. The defense you don't are not impressed with, but you think on an attacking point of view they'll give us a lot of problems and press us. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. This is what he's gonna do. He's going to go in and tell them what they need to hear, like before the Champions League semis. I don't remember the game, but the thing that the manager told his players is, right now nobody knows who you are. In
Yes.
90 minutes, everybody will know your name if you do so and so. So we know, as a players who hear this, you hear this in this day and age where everybody wants the most followers and everybody wants to do so and so and so. If they go out there, they are going to play their asses off. He's going to
Well,
cater to the mentality.
well, um, I think we have beat this one to death. I think it's gonna be I don't know how much Arteta was in the presser. I want to end on this note. I don't know how much Arsenal will be ready for this game. At least none of these players, they all look up to Vieira, but I'm not sure. They are of a different generation. Let's be clear about that, Ehab. This
He's young.
15 years later.
Mhm.
So I think I'm a little concerned. I stand by my guess.
Draw.
520 million teams, a guess. Arteta hopefully should get them ready, but they're coming from the international break. A 1-1 draw, but I won't be surprised if we lose. I'm with you
No.
there. But let's leave it at that. I mean, it's a fool's game here trying to predict results.
Yeah, true.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All righty. Bye, audience, and look out for this on the Uncensored Arsenal on YouTube. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. Bye.